So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another episode on Legally Speaking with Barrister ZZARE. Remember that here we do not just feed you with emotions, sentiments and popular opinions. We bring you up to speed with reality, facts and the law. Because at the end of the day, it's the facts and the law that would prevail and be reality, not social media bans and not social media rants. Don't forget that I have a personal channel called ZZARE Peperempe where I detail my personal life, husband, children, in-laws, vlogs and all of that stuff. I will do well to leave the link to that channel in the description box, so go check it out and subscribe. So Osinachi Nwachukwu's husband has finally broken his silence. He has disclosed the reason, his own account of what led to the demise of his wife, Osinachi. Recall that Peter Nwachukwu was arrested by the police in Abuja on Sunday, 10th of April, on the grounds of suspected culpable homicide. So he has since been cooling his feet in police custody, and it is from there that he made this statement. Despite widespread claims that Osinachi Nwachukwu died from injuries sustained from domestic violence, Mr. Peter Nwachukwu has come forward to debunk that claim. According to Peter, Osinachi has been ill, critically ill, since November of last year, and she had succumbed to her illness and died from it. And although surprisingly he didn't disclose the illness or the nature of the illness, he stands on that claim that Osinachi didn't die from gender-based violence, but rather she was ill. Hence, he did not cause Osinachi's death. Well, on this, I think that science and technology has made this very straightforward and very less debatable. And that's where an autopsy comes to play here. So on that note, I would like to inform you that an autopsy test has been carried out on Osinachi, and according to reports from confirmed sources, that postmortem examination was carried out on the 12th of April. Just a few days back. So while I wait, earnestly wait, and I'm sure you two all are waiting, while we await the results of that post-mortem examination, I'm curious about certain things. First, I'm curious why Peter Nwachukwu didn't inform Osinachi's family of such an illness so serious and critical that he eventually culminated in her losing her life. Why didn't Peter inform Osinachi's family that she was terribly ill? In Igbo culture, Igbo is a tribe in Nigeria, one of the major tribes in Nigeria. And in Igbo culture, where I come from, where Osinachi came from, and where Peter Nwachukwu himself hails from, it is customary, it is tradition, that when you are married and your wife falls terminally or critically ill, you have to formally, officially inform the woman's family that something serious or severe is happening to their daughter. It is not optional. It is not questionable. Whether he's in good terms with the woman's family or not, it is the culture that the husband must formally inform either the woman's father, if he's still alive, or her elder brother, or an elder male member of that family. And in the case where there is no male in that family, then he can inform her mother or a sister. But the member of a family must be aware officially, not via hearsay, that their daughter is ill. And failure to carry out these traditional dictates comes with very severe repercussions, very severe punishments. In many cases, especially where it's the woman that fails to inform the man's family can refuse the corpse to the woman and tell her, take the corpse, we don't know what you're talking about. Go and bury if you can. And of course, the woman cannot bury her husband traditionally without his family being involved. So the family can reject the corpse for you and say, we do not know what you're talking about. Go and produce our child. So if you're watching me, I don't know where you're from, but let me know what the tradition is in your place. Is it same as the Igbos? Do drop in the comment section what the procedure is when a married woman takes critically ill in her husband's house. But even if I choose to keep tradition aside, let me speak commonsensically. Isn't it only normal? Isn't it only common sense for you to inform a woman's family? Come on, the woman didn't fall from the heavens. She came from somewhere before she married you. She bore a name before she bore yours. Isn't it only common sense for you to tell a woman's family that their child had cancer if she was dying of cancer, as the rumors have it, or as he claims? It wasn't a sudden death. According to him, she had been ill for months. And Osinachi's mother disclosed in an interview, which I have interpreted and put on my channel, I think 2 videos back from this one, she said that Peter didn't inform her of any illness. So the question remains, if this is true, Why then was Peter Nwachukwu concealing such a vital information about Osinachi from her own family? Secondly, it is very important to note that when discussing causes of death, there are two branches to it. There are two angles to causes of death. There is the remote cause of death and there is the immediate cause of death. For an immediate cause of death, as the name implies, immediate, there was an activity directly resulting to death. Directly resulting to death. That is an immediate cause of death. For example, two people get into a fight. One person takes a baseball hat, hits the other person in the head. That person drops down, slumps and dies. Cause of death, blunt force trauma to the head, right? Easy, direct, immediate. It's proximate, almost instant. The remote cause of death, on the other hand, is not as instant and immediate as the first one I earlier explained. It is a cause distant in time from the effect. This is the effect. The remote cause of death is an event distant, far away in time from the effects that led to death, right? So it's not immediate. An event in the past that causes an effect in the future. So here it is, an example. A man and a wife gets into a scuffle, right? The wife is diabetic. The man takes a knife, stabs her in the leg. She gets wounded. That wound develops into a sore. And we all know how difficult it is for diabetics to heal their wounds. Good. This injury degenerates and she eventually dies from the injury. The immediate cause of death could be diabetic neuropathy or maybe diabetic foot ulcer. But the remote cause of death is that stab wound to the leg. That was the original cause that led to that foot ulcer that caused death. I hope you're getting me. So Mr. Peter Nwachukwu may not have given that punch or stab or hit that would have led to O.C. slumping and dying. He may not have been responsible for the direct cause of her passing. But it's good I inform you. And it's good he also knows that there is something called a remote cause of death. And it certainly will be taken account in the court. So yes, we await the result of that post-mortem examination with very, very, very keen anticipation. I believe that it will go a very long way in demystifying this puzzle. On the second wife, I know I didn't speak about this on my channel. A lot of people reached out to me to talk about it. Nezeville, talk about the second wife. I haven't yet. Because I do not just like giving surface everywhere news. I like to do a little probing and give some substantial information, quality content, right? That was the promise. That's the deal, right? So it may not be news to you that there is very strong indication to believe that Osinachi's husband had another wife. A wife he married before he married Osinachi. A wife he kept secret from Osinachi and her family. A wife that possibly bore him a child. But before we get in-depthly into the wife parts, a lady known as Ene Ogbe claimed she visited late Osinachi's house and had a chat with her children. According to her, her children gave very chilling accounts of what their parents' marriage was like and the kind of husband and father Peter was during the subsistence of that marriage. So let me quickly read what she had to say. By God's grace, I was in our beloved late sister's house this evening again, and I'm glad that he was actually arrested by the police. But what baffles me is the way and manner he has polluted the children's mind. I had a chat with the firstborn and I almost started crying. This boy told me the ordeal his mom has been going through with his dad. How he beats her up in any little argument. He said, "Auntie, my dad pushed my mom out of the car at night after Wednesday's service. And bad boys snatched my mom's bag that night. How mom got home that night, I can't tell, cause dad left her. People dashed my mom these two cars, pointed at them for me to see. But dad at times would say that my mom should take bike while he goes in the car. Even when we are coming back from church, my mom would stand under the sun and we would drive past her and we would wave at her. My dad told us that beating women is good. I had to cut into the conversation at this point and told him that it is very, very wrong to beat a woman and that God is against it. And I really spoke sense to him. He said that they are happy that their dad was arrested because he used to shout and beat them up as well. The second born sang for us too. He has such a golden voice like the mom. The first son said, my mom always keeps quiet for my daddy and she always forgives him. And now she has died. I told him not to worry as his mom is in heaven. You know, it's one thing not to love your spouse. Possibly there was even never love in the first place, but you married for other reasons. Or maybe there was love at the beginning of the marriage, but later it faded off. But it's an entirely different thing to loathe, despise, and nurse a deep-hated scorn for your own partner. And with every passing day and every new detail revealed, I have very good reason to believe that Mr. Peter Nwachukwu probably hated Osinachi. So one of the children have also revealed that in the course of a curiosity search in their father's room, they found an old album, and in that album laid the photo of their father and another woman in a wedding dress. It was unmistakably a wedding photograph. The whereabouts and identity of this woman as we speak remains unknown, but I'm so curious to know, did she pass and Osinachi's husband had to remarry? Or did she leave as a result of what Osinachi faced in a marriage? Or is she somewhere, camped somewhere, and jointly married to Peter Nwachukwu alongside Osinachi? Those are big questions begging for answers. So to wrap up this vlog, I would address this second wife issue, legally speaking. From the pictures, it is obvious that Peter and this woman got married in the church, and by law and by rights, that is a legal marriage. If that woman is still alive and if no divorce has happened, Peter is legally married to that woman. And any church or court wedding held after that first marriage in the sight of the law is null and void. Void in the sense that it is deemed never to have happened. So since Peter has been wedded in the church, if he wedded Osinachi in the church or in the courts, Osinachi is deemed by law to never have been Peter's wife in the first place. At best, they were merely cohabiting and having children. Because any marriage under the statutes held after a preceding court or church wedding, for all intents and purposes, is null and void. And narrowing it down here in this case, Osinachi was never Peter's wife, and she didn't even owe him any allegiance as a wife. It depends on the type of marriage that Peter conducted. That was clear enough. If you have any questions, drop in the comment section, and I'll be benevolent enough to answer all of that. So that's what the law says. Nothing they say remains hidden under the sun. And as more and more details come out in the open surrounding Osinachi's life, marriage, and death, be sure that I'll bring it to you. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me on today's episode. It's me, your girl, Barrister ZZARE, and this is ZZARE. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.